Instant reaction to England's World Cup squad being announced. Goalkeepers are Pickford, Pope, Ramsdale. Defenders Trent, Conor Cody, Dyer, Maguire, Shaw, Stones, Trippier, Walker, White. Midfielders are Bellingham, Gallagher, Henderson, Mount, Phillips, Rice, and then the forwards of Foden, Grealish, Kane, Maddison, Rashford, Saka, Sterling, Wilson. And it's a good thing. Some of them. The one surprising one probably is Conor Gallagher. I'm not sure what he's done this season to really deserve that spot. You thought maybe if you're going to include that extra midfielder, put someone like Ward-Prowse in because he's just a set-piece specialist. You thought that could have been one. But other than that, it's probably what everyone expected. The big omissions probably been Fikayo Tomori, Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster. But it's just what we expected with Gareth Southgate. He's going to play the players he trusts. He isn't going to be too adventurous with it. James Maddison, the surprising one. Everyone thought that Maddison was going to be the one. He's going to leave out, the controversial one to leave out, but his form this season, at the end of last season, he's been too good to leave out. He's been way too good to leave out. But it's just now which of these players are going to play, and which of these players are going to play the important games. So against Iran, it'll probably be Pickford in goal. He's going to trust Pickford. He hasn't barely played Ramsdale. When he's played Pope, he hasn't been the greatest, especially against in that Germany game. But he'll probably go with a back five of Walker, Stones, Maguire, Trippier and Shaw. That's probably his back five with the midfield two of Bellingham. And the thing is, you don't know, because he could go Rice and Mount. He'd like that Rice Phillips. We don't know what he's going to do. If he goes probably with a midfield two, it'll probably be Bellingham Rice. But if he goes midfield three, it'll probably be Rice, Bellingham, Mount. Against Iran, it'll probably be a forward back maybe. So that'll probably be Trippier, Stones, Maguire, Shaw. Or maybe even Trippier at left back. But then the forwards, we all know there's going to be Saka, Sterling, Kane, don't we? I mean, that's pretty well obvious one. It probably should be Rashford instead of Sterling on this season's form. He's looked really off the pace for Chelsea. And Rashford's looked sharp, mate, nice. And he's the only one that has that running behind. Well, Sterling does it, but Rashford's threatening behind is a lot bigger than everyone else's. Is off the ball. He doesn't need the ball at his feet to be effective, and he's the only one really in that front line, other than Callum Wilson that has that. Callum Wilson may be a big surprise over Ivan Toney, but he's been in great form for Newcastle this season. He's been part of a team that is in the Champions League spots. That's always going to get you a call up, but yeah, looking at the squad compared to the other squads, you don't look at the squad and you say that there's a lot of players in form. Pickford, Pope and Ramsdale, they're all in decent form, and Pope probably being the most in form, but they're not been terrible this season. They've not been, superb, but been good. But that defence, you go Ben White and Kieran Trippier are probably the only ones that are in amazing form this season. There you go. They've probably playing the best they've ever played. Trent's been exposed multiple times defensively, and attacking wise, he hasn't been as good this season. Conor Cody, he's Conor Cody. He's not great. He's not terrible. Good leader, but are you going to play him in the World Cup? Probably not. Eric Dyer, he has a mistake in him. I'm glad he didn't choose Mings, but you're not going to trust Eric Dyer not to make a mistake. Yes, he can be good, but you're not going to trust him not to make a mistake. Maguire hasn't played, and when he has played, he's been pretty shocking. Luke Shaw started the season really rough, had a good couple of games, but again, you don't trust him yet. Stones, he's not probably the form he was a couple years ago, but he's not terrible. Trippier, he is in the form of his life at Newcastle. He's their key man. He's been amazing. He's that starter spot. Kyle Walker's been injured, and Ben White's in the form of his life, but he's played the same position as Kieran Trippier. That's the problem. Midfielders, Bellingham, great form, alongside Declan Rice. That's probably the England midfield. But then you go in the other midfield. It's Conor Gallagher. He hasn't done much for Chelsea this season. He got that goal against Crystal Palace, but he's barely been starting when he has started, and Chelsea haven't been that good this season, so it's a bit of a weird one to pick. Henderson, he has slowed down a lot this season. He hasn't been as effective. Mason Mount hasn't been as good this season. Phillips been injured for City, hasn't played. It could have been him that's been left out as well. Declan Rice has been good, but hasn't been as good as recent years, maybe it could be the squad around him. And then the forwards, Foden, Grealish, they've been good, but they haven't been great. Kane's been quite good this season. Maddison's been an amazing season. Rashford's been really good. Saka really good, but then Wilson's really good, but Sterling not so great. You don't feel great with the squad as it is right now, especially with the past England games in the Nations League where it went horribly wrong. In all senses of the word, defensively, attacking, nothing went right. Losing games, getting battered in some games. There isn't much confidence in the England squad right now. And rightly so, they haven't been performing recently. But there is a squad that has potential world class players, and they've shown in the past that in the Euros, in the World Cup, they can perform. But in this squad, it's probably what most people would have picked. I know people like to get on a Southgate again about Tomori or to Ivan Toney, but were they really ever going to play? They were never going to play. I would have played Tomori, probably. But that's not what Southgate was going to pick. We all knew Southgate has his favourites. We all knew he's going to pick Conor Cody. But that's Southgate, isn't it? He's not going to go with the adventurous pick. But that's probably people's problem with Southgate is he hasn't given Tomori the chances maybe in the England squad. But if you look at this squad, goalkeepers is only going to be one going to play really. Defenders, Conor Cody, Eric Dyer, probably Ben White aren't going to play. Really? He has picked, 6 central defenders really, because he's going to play Kyle Walker as a centre back. He's picked 6 central defenders. And he's going to play Maguire, Stones, Walker, as he has played at every World Cup so far, or tournament so far. So that means Ben White, Eric Dyer and Conor Cody probably not going to play. Midfielders, you can't really see Calvin Phillips or Conor Gallagher playing at all. If you're going to play a 3, you're going to play Rice, Mount, Burnham, and if you're going to bring a player to short after the bench, you probably want the experience of Henderson, so Gallagher and Phillips probably aren't going to play. And then forwards, Wilson's probably not going to play. He's probably not going to play Maddison. He'll probably use Grealish and Rashford as the bench players. Or maybe even Foden, so it'll probably be Wilson, Rashford and Maddison like he did at the last World tournament. He didn't play Rashford at all, did he? So it will be them 3 players that are missing out. Which is why you probably, instead of Conor Gallagher, you probably could have been a bit more adventurous with it. Yeah, these aren't probably going to play, but if you do play them, they could have that little extra spark in it, like Tomori, instead of Conor Cody or Eric Dyer. But hey, he's gone for the experienced players, which is understandable in a tournament, especially mid-season. In the heat as well. It's going to be a tough tournament. You probably want the experienced players who've been through it a bit more for the tournament. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the England squad. Please like and subscribe and comment your thoughts. And I'll see you next time.